Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Voice of Balance, the podcast where we examine the issues that shape human rights, democracy, and equality in our modern world. My name is Okunlola Novisat Olawumi, and today we are diving into a topic that continues to influence society globally: gender inequality to access to education. In this episode, we will explore what gender means, how equality functions as democratic principle, and why the intersection of those two ideas still creates barriers for many children and young people worldwide. We also hear insights from two experts from European Institute of Gender Equality, whose research helps us to understand what challenges are more clearly. To properly discuss our topic, we will need to understand the concept behind it. Gender, as a human rights concept, extends beyond biological difference. It includes roles, behaviors, expectations, and society has assigned to individuals. Those expectations often determine what opportunities people have access to, including education. Equality, on the other hand, is the pillar of democracy. It promotes fairness, equal treatment, equal opportunity, and belief that every individual deserves the same chance to develop and participate fully in society. But when traditional gender norms limit who to attend school or what they are encouraged to study, equality becomes incomplete. Gender inequality in education does just not affect individuals, it affects the progress and stability of the entire community. Gender inequality in education appears in many ways. In some regions, girls are still more likely to drop out due to household responsibility, early marriage, or financial pressure. In the other place, boys may be pushed out of school because of expectation to work and provide income. Even in developed regions like Europe, gender stereotypes still shape the educational choices. Girls are underrepresented in STEM fields, while boys are likely to enter care, health, or education profession. This pattern might appear subtle, but they create long-term consequences. Unequal job opportunity, unequal earning, unequal political and social participation. To understand better those patterns, I turn to the European Institute Gender Equality, an organization responsible for collecting data and analyzing how gender issues affect different aspects including education. Maurizio Mosca, whom is stakeholder relations at European Gender Institute, and Ekaterina Emimi-Woko, who is a programming officer at Gender Institution Institute, will give us more insight about the gender inequality in education.
The results of our work have shown that several gender-related challenges exist in education. First, there are some cultural factors. Gender bias lead still to segregated educational choices for boys and girls. Another important factor is connected to the whole infrastructure of the education system. Gender equality is not structurally and mandatorily embedded in curriculum development and in the competence development of teachers and trainers. The contemporary action of those two factors leads to gender segregation in education, but furthermore in employment and labor market. And we have seen that those factors work in the same way even in those countries that have a solid gender equality culture and still create segregated pathways for boys and girls in education and then in employment.
Teachers are the main actors who can influence students' gender perception as well as their career and study choices. That's why it is so important that teachers are provided with the initial and continuous professional development on gender equality that is sustainable and, most importantly, practical, as well as they're provided with the teaching materials and curricula that reflects the perspective that is free of gender stereotypes. And of course, it's also very important to create a gender-sensitive environment in the whole school that would respond to the specific needs of both boys and girls so that we can overcome the traditional roles in the society.
These expert insights remind us that gender equality in education is not simply about providing classroom, it's about removing cultural, social, and structural barriers that limit students based on gender. When education is unequal, democracy is weakened. But when it is made fair, students gain the power to shape their own futures. As we move forward, it is important that communities, school, government, and families all play a role in creating learning environments where every children, regardless of their gender, can flourish. Thank you for joining me in Voice of Balance. I'm Okunlola Nafisat Olawumi, and I invite you to continue exploring those issues with me in future episodes. Stay informed, stay curious, and remember, equality begins with understanding.